I became a CEO because I said to myself, is anybody really going to hire an Italian with a thick accent like this to do a show about Italians? That it's such a niche. And so I created my own company. And now in 20 years later, it's very common that people do that. 20 years ago, I was the only person.
Pioneer.
A pioneer. And I had my team and I was going in restaurants and not because I was doing everything because necessarily I wanted to do everything. I had to do everything if I want to achieve my goals.
Welcome to Sustainable Futures with Daniela Bas, where innovation meets impact. Join me every first and the third Saturday at 10 a.m. Central European Time for engaging conversations with visionaries reshaping industries like fashion, tech, tourism, sports, and more through social fairness and sustainability. As a global leader and change maker, I share fresh insights and actionable ideas to inspire meaningful change and drive results. Tune in, subscribe, and help shape a brighter, sustainable future. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, in whichever part of the world you are. Today, I'm joined by Ornella Fado, the creative force behind Brindiamo, the first US TV show celebrating authentic Italian culture and cuisine. Ornella has turned storytelling, food, and passion into a bridge for inclusion and cultural sustainability. So let's raise a glass to leadership, fairness, and the beauty of connection. One story, one brindisi at a time. Hello, Ornella, welcome.
Hello, good morning, buongiorno, and brindiamo.
Brindiamo.
Brindiamo to you, Daniela, to your success.
Thank you so much. And I mean, you already have a huge success. So you have to know that Ornella Fado, born in Italy, and then from Naples to Calabria and then Roma, where she worked as an actress, dancer, and a TV presenter. Now, she's a woman of the world. So Ornella Fado, well, then decided to move to New York City, where she lives, and became a CEO and dynamic creator and host of Brindiamo, as I said, the first TV show in the US dedicated to authentic Italian food culture and lifestyle, spotlighting Italy's culinary excellence and inspiring cultural connection through media. So, Ornella, you combine storytelling, elegance, and purpose, showing how culture can drive inclusion, sustainability, and really meaningful leadership. I have a question for you, unless you want to tell me something before.
No, I wanted to thank you for the beautiful introduction. You really target my mission. So thanks.
Well, I have been a guest once or twice when you were recording. I recall this magnificent broadcast you had about Italian culture and cuisine. And I think there was also Madame Bastianovic at that time.
Absolutely. I was going to tell you, so do you remember we were at Italy downtown for this beautiful show, special episode of Brindiamo about the region of Calabria. And yes, Miss Lydia Bastiani, she was there. She was talking about Calabria and our beautiful Il Cedro, beautiful, unique product that you can only find in Calabria. Yes, I remember very well. It was quite a few years ago. You were still living in New York.
Yes, indeed. Oh, my. Now, my jolly question to you, since you have a good memory, who knows, you might surprise me with this answer as well. If you weren't sharing Italian culture and cuisine with the world, what completely different passion or talent do you think you'd be pursuing today? Something your audience and your friends would never guess about you, Ornella?
Well, I've been already wearing literally and figuratively a lot of hats in my life. So, as you know, I'm an ex dancer. From ballet, I started to do television, and so I did a lot, like Fantastico 6, Un altro varietà, Cinema che follia, literally working with the best directors such as Antonello Falqui and the choreographer like Franco Miseri and so on. And then, because I've been always very curious, I said, let me try musical theater. And I did La commedia musicale di Rinaldo in Campo, where I met, Massimo Ranieri, Aggiungi un posto a tavola with
Big
Johnny
names.
Dorelli. And then I said, oh, now I want to do television as a hostess. So I became the brand ambassador of GBR, which was the first, private TV channel in Italy. And then I went to see a Broadway show, A Chorus Line. And I said, oh my God, this show is amazing. I'm going to do the audition. Listen, I had no clue that this show will change completely my life, because I saw, I love it. Next audition, I went, I got the job. I met the music director. He became my husband. We had a baby. And here I am in America, because that's what brought me in America. I never had an American dream, Daniela. It just happened that I got married to an American, and we were thinking to live between Italy and New York. And after a few years of living everywhere for his job, we were in Switzerland, we were in Germany, he said, okay, let's pick one country, because with a baby, my daughter was start to talk in German at one point. And I said, okay, I cannot even understand my own daughter here. Choose, danke schön. I said, oh my God, my daughter speaks German. It's great, but I don't understand her. So we decided to live here. Have said that, when I come to New York, I, discover, I look around and I said, you know what? Something is missing.
Yeah.
It's missing a representation of Italy now, okay? So first I created a show for kids, because I had a little girl. It's called Danza e Musica, where I was teaching Italian through dance. So here, my old passion, which was dancing, and my needs to teach Italian to my daughter in not a boring way by herself, but so I create an after school program for the PBS, for the public school in New York. And it was called Dance and Music, and I had a lot, young kids that want to learn Italian, because again, there was nothing for Italians. It was very hard to find, Italian lessons for children. So, and then Carolina was growing, and I was growing with her. I create a program for kids on Broadway, because she became also, a professional dancer. So she did the Nutcracker, she did the Ragtime. So I create kids on Broadway, where professional kids will find, kids like them, that they were not just the children take a dance class, but they needed to really having a good training. And then I said, wow, everybody said, oh, you cannot eat the good food in New York. How come? And I said, well, they are good restaurants. The fact that you don't know which one are the good restaurants. And I start to think about, what about a show that highlights authentic Italian restaurants? And then the other mission was, we can erase stereotypes about Italians. We are not only mafiosi, gangster, and, meatballs. And they do exist. I'm not saying that those things are not part of the Italian culture.
But
I'm
these are just
saying,
few ingredients of our tasty cake.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, and then I said, wait a moment, when American personality goes in Italy, there is huge stages. Everybody, Rai wants them, Canale 5, everybody wants them. They come here, Massimo Ranieri, Carlo Verdone, and there is no shows, no platform to welcome them. So I said, you know what? Let me be the only channel that welcomes Italian celebrities in tour here. So Ron, Raf, Massimo Ranieri, of course, Carlo Verdone, and Eduardo Bennato, Teresa De Sio, Barbara D'Urso. So many people coming here and I say, hey, I know you have, a new show here. Why don't I meet you for an interview and broadcast on the American channel through my television show? So, and that's to tell you how many different hats I've been wearing. So I am not afraid to try something else. You ask me a good question, what I will try to do. I love real estate. I love very much, for example, architecture and more important, decorating. I love to decorate. Here you can see I have a Venice on my back.
Yes.
Here I have a Peru. So I will love, that will be a job of me and my boyfriend, that he is a doctor, he's a neuro-ophthalmologist, but like me, we love to decorate apartments. So we can do a show about, how to decorate your home.
Lovely. Good taste. So actually, there are many hats that you are hiding, and from time to time you show up a new one. So this is something that maybe others didn't know about you. Now we do. Thanks for sharing that.
Of
And
course, thank you for asking. You made me think, an alternative career.
absolutely. So in a way, you told me, and you told also the audience, what is your formula to be a successful woman? It started with your curiosity, then your daughter helped you to explore new areas and domains you wouldn't have imagined, and New York, and then a husband, as you said, and then becoming from a presenter and a dancer a CEO in the media world. As an Italian who has made it in another country, must have been quite challenging, I believe.
Well, Daniela, this is a good point. How do you become a CEO? I had no choice, meaning I didn't know anybody when I came here, right? So I know, luckily, I know my husband, my ex-husband. And so I do have a lot of empathy for immigrants. Why? Because I didn't come as a simple immigrant. I had somebody that was born in America, was working on Broadway. So I didn't have to learn anything because I had to learn everything, but it was easy for me. I didn't have to have a visa, I become a citizen. So when I see Italians coming here, I do feel that my mission is to help them out somehow because I was lucky. But I become a CEO because I said to myself, is anybody really going to hire an Italian with a thick accent like this to do a show about Italians that it's such a niche? So I created my own company. And now, in 20 years later, it's very common that the people do that. 20 years ago, I was the only person.
Pioneer.
A pioneer, and I had my team, and I was going in restaurants, and I had to do everything if I want to achieve my goals. Because American loves to have Italian Americans, Asian American, Afro Americans, but God forbid an Italian, an African, or a French, or a German. Still, you don't have real foreign host in America. So, CEO because I create OK Production LLC, which produced the show that I was producing, hosting, writing, and everything else. And if I wasn't going to do that, it would never happen. When people say, how did you do? And how do you get money? I said, listen, if you are not the first person that trust and believe in yourself, people don't throw you money on. So, this expectation that a lot of younger people have, that first they get the sponsors, then they waiting, and then they get, is not happening. I mean, it may happen. It didn't happen to me, let's say. So I always said, I'm not a control freak, that I'm doing everything. I'm doing it because it was a necessity. And then I got lucky because I started to watch this channel, this American channel, and I said, I really want to be on an American channel, okay? Because Rai actually wasn't broadcast anything local. They were getting all the shows often, a melancholic show, black and white shows that didn't represent us. You know,
Yes.
you've been in New York.
Yes.
There was no representation. That's how we know each other. And that's how people know me, because you represent the Italians that moved in America as adults. So I said to Rai, I said, hey, I'm a good hostess. I've been doing this job for a long time. Can we do a show about Italians? And they look at me and they said, oh, no, we don't do that. We just push the cassette,
Yes.
the beta. And whatever the Rai from Italy send us, that's what we broadcast. And I said, okay, there is something wrong. So go back to the fact that there was a need
Yes.
for me to, say to people, hey, we are not only mafioso, we can cook well. There is a lot Italians here that they're first generation and they have no representation. And there is a need to welcome huge celebrity that come here that you may not know, but you may want to know who they are. And let's do a show that is called Brindiamo to celebrate Italy. So my first show as a professional was La Traviata
Wow.
when I was a little girl in Calabria. Again, I was lucky because my dance school in Calabria was very ambitious. La signora Sisca, la direttrice, and she already made a contract with il Teatro Rendano di Cosenza
Wow.
to say, hey, you need, dancers for La Traviata, for Otello, for Aida, for whatever. Said, you use our kids. And so when I was like 12, 13 years old, I was already dancing in the opera with
Wow.
Katia Ricciarelli, Anna Moffa. So I, was already exposed to the professional world. So the first show was La Traviata, Giuseppe Verdi. I love it. The scene of the Brindisi, and I said, okay, this show is going to be everything that I love, a container of everything that I love. And the opening scene is from La Traviata to thank the first job as a professional dancer. And then I moved to Rome, and again I was lucky because I started as a dancer with Diana Ferrara. She was she was the étoile of Teatro dell'Opera di Roma. And again, because my director was very ambitious, she will bring all this personality, like Carla Fracci to be the madrina of the scuola, Diana Ferrara to do the exam of end of the year. She saw me and she said, I want in my company, Compagnia Nazionale di Danza Diana Ferrara.
Wow.
And so at 17, I said, okay, I'm going to Rome. And I just finished her annual, company when I did audition for this scholarship for Renato Greco. Renato Greco was the first
Big
Italian
names.
dancers
Really
for
big
Rai.
names. Yes.
And then, again, I'm curious. I see an audition for television. And I say to Renato, do you think I can do the audition? Well, try, go and see what happened. And absolutely surprised me. I got engaged for my first television show, Fantastico 6, with the launch of Lorella Cuccarini.
Oh my.
The sigla Sugar Sugar that,
Yes.
is becoming so a cult in Italy with Pippo Baudo. So I went to Renato. I said, Renato, I have to break the contract with you. And because I got a job, I never thought I would be a television dancer. I was such a ballerina, you know,
Yes.
point
Ballet,
and
yes.
romantic. So, and I had to learn everything. I want to
Modern.
do very modern. I had to do the audition. And I think Franco Miseria got me because I was so different with the chignon, the ballet point. And I was only 18. And everything, one things after the other one, you know. And that year, in the 80s, Daniela, Rome was full of jobs. You know, as I did commercials, I did a movie, you know, I did with Fellini, l'intervista di Fellini in the scene with Marcello Mastroianni. And then I did with Zeffirelli, L'Otello. I was one of the dancers. So it was so exciting. So many things. And I'll try anything. I said, what do I have to lose? You know?
And then
So,
Broadway. Crossing
and
the
then the
ocean.
chorus line really changed completely. You know, when people say, oh, you know, this year chorus line celebrated 50 years. So they did a big event in Lincoln Center. There was the original Connie, you know, a lot of original dancers, Kelly Bishop. So we went with my daughter that she's in the book as the chorus kids. You know, they had a book of all the people that met during a chorus line, a lot of us. And so we were all there, and the people say, oh, you know, for chorus line, I changed this. For chorus, I said, listen, people, for chorus line, I changed completely my life. So 33 years ago, I moved here. And, you know, to go back to our circle, I felt the need to create a show for Italians abroad. And Daniela, it never was about the carrots. Who cuts
Yeah.
the carrots the fastest? Is walking in a restaurant and tell the story of the Italians. What brought you here? You know how many people came here to become actors? And then they said, you know, my grandfather was a chef. I love cooking. And then become successful restaurateurs. And the actors, so they're good on camera, they're mediatic, you know? And they all come with so many different surprise reasons, you know. They are the chefs and restaurateurs. They come here with a business plan. You know, I'm going to America to open a restaurant, you know, like the people from Barolo you remember they were in Soho, i Tre Merli and
Yes.
Barolo.
Oh,
They
yes.
came and they
Yes.
said, we're going to open a successful restaurant. So very interesting stories. So the food become, of course,
Yes.
the reason why Americans will watch my show. Because
Right.
again, what do you have in common? Food. So the food become il mio modo per prenderli per la gola, right?
Yes,
So
yes,
that's how
to
I'm
conquer
grabbing
them
you.
through
Yes.
teasing their taste,
Yes.
and so your
Yes.
storytelling was through food, about you know, how Italians are contemporary, the contemporary Italians of today. Although of
Correct.
course the roots are there and they are important,
And
but
we
you're
respect
bringing,
them.
yes, but
Yeah.
bringing the novelty of who we are today. Now, tell me,
Today.
Ornella, how can communication, and you're a great communicator, and storytelling, you just told us now some examples, empower fairer, more equitable business practices in the culinary industry, in your view?
Well, true stories. And it's exactly if you know the story behind the people, you know that tradition is important. You know that this is important. We don't throw away bread because the bread it can be reused for so many more recipe. I was in Milan a few months ago, and just yesterday I was given a note to my editor, and we were making. This is a Michelin star restaurant, Aimo and Nadia, and so what are you making today? Papa al pomodoro. Okay.
So simple.
And so simple, you know, so we have all the bread, we carrot, we make the croutons, and then we smash them. So that's a sustainability because we don't throw away anything. Everything has a new life in the Italian cuisine. So, of course, especially now with tariff and things, it will be challenging for Italians to bring the best product from Italy. But as much as they can, they use vegetable from market that they are close by because we cannot expect the carrots and the potato. Also, American has great potatoes, so we don't
Of
have
course.
to import, or the tomatoes.
The
They all
sweet
come
ones
from
are
here.
amazing.
So, and that's the importance of sustainability in the Italian food. The fact that we don't throw away anything and we remake a fantastic dish. All the meatballs are made how? With old bread.
Leftovers of meat and
Leftovers
bread.
have a new life.
Yes.
So
yes.
that's very, very important. And how many Michelin stars chef use the old, once I was at Moreno Cedroni in the Marche, and he said, Ornella, let's make the tiramisu with the old bread instead of Savoiardi, which you have to buy. Instead, I learned so much interview them. Everybody has a different story. And my shows are never going in restaurants that they are chains because, the beauty is that each of them has a different story and has a different reason to move here.
So now, Ornella, you told us what's in front of your camera, but I would like to peek behind the scenes of Brindiamo.
Okay.
So what's one lesson about teamwork and leadership that people wouldn't expect about Brindiamo?
That's a good one. People wouldn't expect that will be always me. Say, okay, she's in front of the camera and she's also behind the camera.
Yes.
So to be a big show, meaning that I don't do anything with my cell phone, I always put a high standard on my show. For a simple reason, I believe in longevity. And in fact, it's 20 years of Brindiamo. I never believe of un boccone scappa.
Yeah,
Bite,
just a bite
and
run.
No, I'm always there for in the long run. So when you go behind the scene of Brindiamo, which I'm doing a book of behind the scene of Brindiamo, you see a woman that having fun to start because even I am the same person that you see on camera.
Yeah.
And this is a lot of people say, oh my God, you look just like you. Because often people are two people.
Yeah.
And I choose a team that can be supportive, that is also light and fun, and they can adapt. This is very important because I don't work in an office, in a studio where, okay, cut, remake it, we make a mistake, we go on. Because I don't have time. These people are real chefs working in a real kitchen with real patrons outside. They want to eat. So,
Yeah.
and that's what I want to keep, that kind of energy. So, you know how many times, ding, 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 cotoletta, ding, 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 pasta. And I say, keep it because you are actually a real chef. You don't put a jacket and pretending to be a chef for the occasion. You are running a restaurant with people. So, of course, we don't go film at 12 o'clock. We go film at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, there is no lineup, but we can get closer to the opening. So you meet two cameramen and one photographer, and we are very harmonious and very flexible. Oh, turn off the fan. And if you turn off the fan, it's very hot. So we start sweating. Turn on the fan. Turn off the oven. And so it's challenging to go behind the scene of a real show filmed in real kitchen because you have all this aspect. But it's authentic. It's real,
But I thank you for being so honest and actually bringing us with you right now. As I said, you're an amazing storyteller. Now, in a world driven by quick content, then can slow storytelling about food and culture still inspire long term change? Ornella.
For sure. And I'm telling you more. I said to another colleague journalist when she interviewed, I am not a big fan of very popular shows that the only uh, goal is cutting faster, preparing the recipe. Why?
Hmm.
Why? Why we don't take the time to tell the story behind every dish, every traditions? And I don't believe that this way of working so fast, it will advantage anybody. Even for example, all these people that spent hours on Instagram to do something so fast.
Hmm.
One day, if Instagram is not here, they lose all their work, because there is no hard copy of all this amazing work. That I respect them, and I'm also on, social media. But I always say my main goal is first to make my vision of my job authentic to myself,
Hmm.
because success is not popularity. Success, oh, it's funny that the camera one,
Yes,
did you see that?
success.
Wow, it's so smart. AI, I guess. Success is something that give you the freedom to have uh, the freedom to do your own editorial in the way that you want to, not because you are slave of a system that tell you
Hmm.
we are too quick to do everything. For some strange reason, I'm surviving just fine by doing what I want to do in the way that I want to do, and people appreciate my authenticity, my approach. And again, I didn't expect certain group, ethnic group, to love my show. Italian American loves it because they see a word that they didn't know existed because they didn't experience. And so, I have so many mom and daughters watching the show together as a
So,
family,
so do you,
because, there is a bridge between the old world and the new world.
correct. So, in your way, from what I understand, maybe you think that media talks too much about how food looks and not enough about where it really comes from, its nutrition, its minerals, how good it is also for us to eat healthy, not just to see the
Correct.
recipes and the cooks cooking, right? It's the
Correct.
whole
I mean,
realm. It's a holistic approach.
yes, and it is important to me how it looks, and I love it to film shows from Michelin star restaurants
Hmm.
because on camera they
Well,
look better.
we enjoy
But
it looking at something that looks nice. It's
yes,
pleasant, right?
yes,
Including
yes,
a
yes,
nice dish of food, well presented.
yes. But like you said, the meatballs pasta, it represents the Italian American moving here, right? Because they didn't have after the war a lot of meat.
Hmm.
So, that's why they make huge meatballs, because it means now we are rich, now we can eat, it was the Italians,
Hmm. Hmm.
that brought the Italian American cuisine to the American public. And guess what? Italian Americans say, hey, we appreciate your new modern cuisine. But for us, it's memory of our traditions.
Very
And
true.
it's like how do you say, la copertina that is giving you the nurture of safety of the
It's the
Italian
nice
American food.
blanket, that mama used to
Yes.
put on you when you were a kid to keep you warm and nice and cozy,
So
right?
that's what for them is the Italian American
Mm-hmm.
cuisine.
Mm-hmm.
Something that part of their story since they were little. We don't want to take that away from them because we have the new Italian cuisine that is made with molecular things. We appreciate the whole things. And a lot of these shows sometimes they go overboard to spettacolarizzare. They lose the opportunity to educate the audience. In exchanging to get excitement, I cut the potato faster, and now I put it in the oven, and then, oh, it's done.
Yes.
So integrity, I believe that integrity, consistency, passion, that's the success of a show. And you keep your true self because people appreciate that. So, because I don't want to lose any part of this authenticity.
People usually used to say one man show. In this case, we have one woman show.
For
Ornella,
sure.
I usually ask my guests 3 questions, past, present, and future. Now, about the past and the present, I think that somehow you already covered them. So once
Yes.
upon a time, there was this incredible woman, Italian woman, who moved in Italy doing various things, then back to, back to a new kind of lifestyle when she arrived in New York and found out that storytelling, culture, and gastronomy were going to be her new present. And presently, you are still working in this fantastic world that is food and flavors and natural ingredients and authentic stories. So let me ask you a question about the future, though. The future
Well,
we
the
haven't
future.
spoken about. So if
True.
you were 20 in 2071, what kind of world would you hope to live in, Ornella? And what role would food, culture, and inclusion play in the future, in your view?
Well, I still think that food has it will never go away. Yes, sometimes you can put in a drink all the nutrient, but the joy of sitting on the table and eating, that's something very Italian American that everybody say on Sunday they still meet and everybody sitting on the table tell their story. Convivialità, I don't
Yes.
think it will go away. If and maybe I'm projected that I hope it will never go away. It's such an important time. All the important things happen around the table when people want to give a good news. I'm getting married, I'm having a baby. It's always in front of something delicious. So I see my future continue to do this job because it is my mission, and continue, and also because I still think that there is a lot to work to show what is Italy all about. And so there is a lot to work to do. People still don't know all the regions of Italy. So to me, when I go to market, that is one of these regions that people don't know in America, I like to highlight exactly where it is and why it's important and what is the product that come from that region. So even when I had the opportunity to work with nice big sponsors and partners, I said, please, I don't want to just showcase the bottle. I want to
Right.
tell the story. I want to tell the story behind the farmers, behind the people that makes this wine, because any bottles at the end is a bottle, but the story behind the bottles is what makes the wine special, right? So I'm still involved in the Italian community. Maybe I'm part of the comites. So we have a lot of great program. We create one that if you were here, believe me, you will be our, mentor, because it's called mentorship, and we need amazing people like you
Well,
to
I can do that
mentoring.
remote. Who
Maybe
knows?
we can do remote, exactly. To new Italians that came here and they don't know how to, navigate. So, I have a not-to-profit organization called the Genial Italy Association, and so showcase the genius, the genialità italiane. So I can still see me here as Italian trying to be an ambassador for the Italians and,
And the next generations to come for
Yes.
2071. So there is a legacy.
There is a legacy,
Yes.
absolutely. And like I said, I put so much effort for my daughter to speak fluently Italian. And when she said, Mom, Dad, I'm getting married. Don't freak out. It's going to be in Italy. And I was proud because I guess all this year that she was in Italy with my, father, with no, it means so much for her. I'm so happy that I'm here celebrating with my Italian family and my Italian friends, because it means that my mission to share my passion and my language with my daughter worked. And so I want to do for other people. Not all the Italians are teaching Italians to their kids.
It's true.
In America.
Yes, I know.
And so if I can do through my work, it's an achievement for me, it's a success.
So, Ornella, you have done so many things, you still have a vision and so many projects ahead. Let me raise a glass, in a virtual way.
You have a visual, I have a mug.
I know.
It's in the morning.
So
E
let's raise a
brindiamo
glass
to
to you, cin cin, brindiamo. And I would like to raise a glass also to one value that should guide the next generation of leaders. What would it be and why, in your view, Ornella?
Integrity. We need integrity. I think in these past few years, anything goes. Is not true. Integrity, passion, courage, that's and authenticity. Be true to yourself.
Right.
I think
so,
it's important.
Ornella, I thank you so much for this beautiful message to us, the new generation and those to come.
Brindiamo to your success and to your audience, because you are doing something really, really beautiful. And I'm so proud. Thank you very much for inviting me here. It's been such a pleasure. I miss you. I miss you here, but thank God we have this way of, still
Being in
being in
touch.
contact.
So,
Yes.
brindiamo il tuo successo, Ornella, e agli amici dell'Italia. Bye bye. Thank you. As I wrap up this episode, my heartfelt gratitude to today's guest and to all of you. Join me for the next episode as we delve deeper with special guests, uncovering thought-provoking insights and actionable steps, paving the way for a brighter, inclusive, sustainable tomorrow. Thanks also to Damian Morton, music, and Maria Cortez Gagliano, social media. Don't miss out next episode on shaping the future we aspire to. Ciao, ciao!